Had a lot of new skiers come in, and a lot of people have been asking us questions about what to do with their skis, how to care for them, and especially how to wax. So today I've come to Nipika Mountain Resort, and we're going to talk to Lyle Wilson about care of your new skis and the proper way to wax them.
Hi, I'm Lyle Wilson, and I'm here to talk to you about kick waxing for classic skis. And in order to understand kick waxing, you have to sort of first know how the ski is built and how it works. All skis are built with a bit of flex or bow in them. And that's so that you create a zone in the middle that's called the wax pocket. And that's where the kick waxes go. They give you traction when you're taking the kick. The tip and the tail of the ski are the glide surfaces. And those are the surfaces that when you're just standing on the ski are supporting your weight and gliding across the snow. So we're going to work on what we do with the kick wax in the middle of the ski in order to give you traction. Wax pocket, and in most skis it's delineated by little marks on the side of the ski. And that's the difference of where you put kick waxes and you put glide waxes. And we'll talk later about what we do with glide waxing, but today we're going to focus on what we do to get grip so that you can kick the ski and move yourself along the trails. So this surface has little or no weight when you're standing evenly on both skis. What happens with the snow is snow crystals have a structure and lots of arms and crystal appendages. And when you push down on the ski, the wax that goes on the bottom of the kick zone penetrates into those snow crystals, holds you in place, and then when you lift the ski up and glide along, the snow gets buffed off and the ski slides with very little friction. So a hard wax is simply a paraffin substance that's the same density as the snow crystals. So snow crystals, as it gets colder, get harder and more brittle. So you use a harder wax. And so each of these kick waxes that work by integrating into the snow crystals are called hard waxes. And you have a series of colors from always green on the cold end through blue as the waxes gradually get softer, through purple and to red, and even yellow on the very top end. And the only difference in all these is the hardness of the wax. Brittle cold snow needs a hard wax. Warm snow around 0 or above needs a very soft, tacky wax because the snow crystal is very soft and has a lot of moisture in it. So in order to put these on, we'll just use the ski clamp over here to keep the ski in place. We actually take a wax and you take your fingernail and we'll just peel a layer of the top of the can off so the top of this paraffin tube is exposed. And then you simply start at the back end, and we never wax beyond our heel plate under the back of the foot. We always use it as a marker, and we start waxing. We tilt this slightly, and just like a crayon, you lightly crayon the wax onto both the gliding surfaces. Don't worry about the groove in the middle. That's just in the ski to keep it tracking straight. It doesn't have to be deliberately waxed. So I work my way forward until I get to these little chevrons in the front of the ski. And with your individual ski, you'll find that as you apply wax and ski more, you notice there are a number of different chevrons here. There's about 15 centimeters of variation. So if I were a little bit lighter person, I may want to Kickwax a longer stretch. But I'm a pretty chunky, heavy guy, so I can get away with a fairly short Kickwax. So I put about that much wax on the ski, and then I take a cork, and these are synthetic corks, and what they do is they produce heat and friction. And what you want to do is rub the wax in. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking that it's the roughness and coarseness of the wax that makes you stick, but really it's just the texture of the wax. So you buff it vigorously until it looks clear, like that. And that gives you a layer for the snow crystals to work with. Probably for most skis, if you're going to go out, you're usually going to ski a few kilometers. I would usually put 3 or 4 layers on before I'm ready to go ski. And the reason you do it in layers is there's no real layering of the wax when you're finished. The layering just makes sure that the wax surface stays sort of equal depth over the whole wax pocket of the ski. So that's how you would put hard wax onto a ski. First thing, you need a variety of waxes, and every one of these little cans has a temperature range on it. So check the thermometer, take a look, go out and look at the snow, and is it brand new, fresh snow, or is it snow that's been around for a week or two? And you'll see a temperature range. So this one, for new snow, has a -2 to -10 degree range, and for old weathered snow, a -5 to -15. The reason it differs a little bit is new snow has the long, fresh crystal arms, whereas the old snow has been weathered and all those delicate little arms on the snow crystal break down. So it's really just a little tiny ice pellet. So you have more grip with new snow than you do with old snow. So the wax has a range for both. But if you hit the right temperature range, and you need probably 3 or 4 waxes to get yourself started, and then you add to it as you hit circumstances that vary. The other tools you need for doing Kickwax are you need a scraper for cleaning the wax off. You need some wax remover. So when I take this Kickwax off, I use a solvent and a lid-free cloth. So we're going to take that Kickwax off just using a dab of solvent. Okay. So to clean your skis, if tomorrow was a warmer or a colder day, and I wanted to change my wax to the appropriate wax for that day, I would simply use the solvent, clean my wax pocket off, and then just with a regular old paper towel, just rub that solvent off the base of the ski, let it evaporate. And now I'm ready to wax again for a new day. And that's only done in the wax pocket of a classic ski. One other type of waxes we use, that's the hard waxes or canned waxes, are all you use when you're dealing with snow crystals in the track. So right now it's snowing lightly outside, so we'd have a little layer of fresh new snow crystals. So we'd use the new snow temperature ranges. So that's how hard waxes work. Now there are conditions for classic skiing where the tracks haven't had snow for a long period of time. Lots of skiers have gone over them. And as a ski travels over the snow, friction creates a certain amount of heat. And that kinetic energy tends to compact the snow and turn it gradually into a layer of ice. So you also can ski on conditions where you aren't skiing over fresh snow crystals, you're skiing over a hard, packed, smooth surface. And those are the conditions where we get rid of our canned hard waxes and we use the clisters. And the same thing applies where you have a series of numbers. You have 30 and 35 and 40 and so on. All these is clisters that are gradually going from the green and the blue through the purple, through the reds to the yellows, the same sequence as the hard waxes, but it's going from cold and hard to warm and gooey, and based on what temperature you have outside. The way clisters work is a little bit different. We're going to put clister on a ski, but if you think the hard waxes work by the integration of snow crystal arms and the wax, and when the ski lifts, they separate and clean off. With clisters, they go on a heavier, almost like a syrup layer on the base of the ski, and they form a smooth layer. And when you press a clister down on the snow, on the ice that's in the track, you don't have snow crystals penetrating into it. What you're really doing is making a print or a mold of all the little irregularities of the ice that's underneath the ski. And that surface friction between the clister and that smooth surface are what hold the ski in place while you're taking your kick. And then when the ski lifts up, if you have the right clister on, the clister separates from that icy surface and carries on for the next step. So the way they work is you open up the tube, you punch the hole in the lid, and I simply start at one end of my wax pocket, and I put a little bead of clister down both of the running surfaces for the length of my wax pocket, nice and even. So I got the same amount of clister all along the ski. Then right away, screw the lid back on the clister, or you're going to be in trouble with a messy workspace. Then what I do, clisters come with this plastic clister spreader. I simply lean that onto the ski, press it in like this so the clister smooths right across the whole running surface on both sides of the groove. And you just keep pressing it in nice and smooth till you have a nice even layer on the whole ski. And I even do this. I don't mind doing this to get a really good layer. I use my hands a lot, and I just take my thumbs and smooth it out so it's evenly across the whole base of the ski, and then with the heel of my thumb, I get a nice, smooth layer on both running surfaces. And that layer of clister is a layer on top of the plastic that will change and make a print of the ice that's underneath it when you take each step. And then when it buffs along, it just goes quite smoothly along. Important thing to know is if you do this inside and you rush out onto the snow and slap the ski down on the snow, clister at room temperature will not work. You have to put it outside, let it cool to the temperature that it's meant to work in, and then it's the right hardness for the circumstance. If I go out at room temperature, throw this down on the snow and the clister's too warm, it'll stick like glue to the ice that's under it. And then when you take your first few steps, it'll all strip off or you'll fall on your nose because it's glued the ski to the spot. So when you do clister, take the ski outside for a couple of minutes, just lean it against the building or put it down in the tracks and give it a minute to cool. Then it works the way it should. So getting clister off a ski, I use a putty knife, a metal putty knife. You can also use your clister spreader, and you simply, here, come on around this side. You simply start at the front edge with your spreader. You peel back as much as you can get off. Clean it up. Peel back the other side of the clister. Get as much off as you can with the scraper. And then again, use your wax remover solvent with a lint-free cloth to get the rest off. And when you finish your skis, it's always a good idea to clean them right away, especially if you're carrying them in your car. So take the solvent, clean the kick surface of your ski till there's no tackiness left, and your ski's ready for the next wax job. So in a nutshell, that's kick waxing for skis. The structure of the ski makes it all work, having that flex in the middle and creating this pocket that's meant for traction. Hard waxes in a series of colors and hardness for when you're working with snow crystals, and clisters for the same temperature range on track where you're not dealing with snow crystals. And then a solvent to remove it, and some towels or lint-free cloths. Fiberline is what's needed to totally clean a ski and get it right back to square one, ready for tomorrow's ski. That's kick waxing.